Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Kresge Gymnasium here on the campus of Albion College. I'm Jim Funderburg along with Jim Bellamy tonight as we do our final men's game here on the Briton Sports Network for the 2017-2018 season. It is the final Friday night for three seniors here tonight, and we will talk about them as we go. But more importantly, we have the Calvin Knights in town, and whenever Calvin comes to town, it is a reason to have a pep band on hand and hopefully a nice crowd on hand and hopefully a basketball team that, even though they're not having the year that they wanted to have this year, Jimmy, focused and ready to play their last home game of the season. Yeah, it's you look at the way the Britons have kind of gone up and down over the last 5 and the last 10 games, and they found themselves still kind of playing around 500 basketball. And so we were talking with Bobby Lee a little bit earlier before we went into pregame tonight, and you want to see how the young men respond tonight. But they've played the top teams pretty tough over the last 10. Calvin has played a very similar kind of schedule with very similar results over the last 10 games, and so it should be a pretty interesting matchup as you see the records posted up on the screen there. It's like I said, it's been a real up and down year for Coach May's squad.
No doubt about it. You take a look at that right now. As predicted at the very beginning of the season, Adrian on top. They are tied, though, with 3 other teams. Overall, they are 13-4, so they have the best overall record of any of the teams in the conference. And they are 4-2 in the conference, along with Hope, Olivet, and Trine. And then as you take a look at things from there, I think that might be a little bit old, possibly, you thinking?
Yeah, I'm thinking that's an old one because both teams, I believe, are 5 and 7 in the conference.
Yeah,
so.
There you go. I think you're right. I think we had to have an old graphic on there for you right at this point in time. So we'll get that one taken care of. But yeah, both these teams come in tonight at 5 and 7 in the conference. Calvin Knights at 9 and 14 overall, and Albion at 8 and 15. And neither one of the teams really doing as well as what they'd hoped to do this year. But it is a situation where you do have these teams on top. Adrian and Trine, both of them still playing pretty good basketball this year. For the Albion Britons, they come in now after losing to Trine 76-72. They had defeated Kalamazoo the week before 70-67, and Alma 68-61. They lost that game, so they've lost 2 of their last 3. And now we look at our updated standings right at this point in time. Hope and Olivet now on top of the conference at 9 and 3. We apologize for that. And overall, they're 15 and 8 and 14 and 9 respectively. Then you got Adrian sitting down there with Trine, both of them at 7 and 5. So the tournament appears to be relatively set right now with those 4 teams. Then you have Calvin and Albion and Alma all at 5 and 7, and Kalamazoo at 1 and 11 on the season. So, as you said, Jim, it's not been the season I'm sure that Coach May wanted to have this year, but it is the season that he has, and you just have to deal with it at that point in time.
Yeah, it's just kind of been an up and down season, and the game that was unfortunately kind of the knockout game in terms of postseason aspirations for the Britons, the game that they lost to Trine 76-72. They were trailing at halftime 42-38, and they actually held a lead late in that game. They were up 72-64 with just under 3 minutes to play, and then they just went stone cold from the floor. Didn't make another basket, didn't make another free throw, and ultimately the last 12 points of the game ended up going to the Trine Thunder, who escaped Kresge Gymnasium with a very important victory. And like I said, that was kind of a knockout game for the Brits as they fall earlier, or last weekend I should say, 76-72. So it was a tough way to lose. They've definitely kind of gone through a steady and gradual improvement over the year. But I think the things that plagued them earlier in the season that we had seen and we had spoken with Coach May about in some of the post-game conversations we've had came to rear their ugly head again. Having the lead late and not playing the full 40 minutes, not closing it out. And that's the thing ultimately that takes you from a team that's 5 and 7 in the conference to maybe 8 and 4. 3-4 of those games, you could be 9 and 3 in the conference. just as easily as you are 5 and 7 if you just play a full 40. And, you know, that's the thing that they're going to have to, you know, really look carefully at in the offseason. And they're going to need to come back with a renewed focus, not just tonight and in the finale on Saturday, but it's something they're going to have to look at going forward next year too.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Now, the other thing that has been very difficult for Coach May and his group here over the last couple of weeks has been the fact that Corey Wheeler, who is one of their 3 seniors, and a young guy that they really were depending upon this year. They thought maybe that, you know, it was not a very big senior class, but there were 3 folks there, and Corey was going to be one of them, and obviously a very active, slashing scorer, plays defense, gets everywhere, has had some troubles with an ankle here for the last couple of weeks, and has missed a lot of games in there. We're told that tonight he may miss this ball game as well. As I said, there's only 3 seniors on the team tonight. Corey Wheeler out of Detroit Renaissance, Robert Ryan, and Ryan Lowe. And we do expect that if Corey Wheeler could play, he will start tonight, as you normally do your final night here at the Kresge on your final senior night. But if he's not able to give it a go, and we're told that it's doubtful here this evening, then basically the other 2, Robert Ryan and Ryan Lowe, will get some playing time, I'm sure, tonight for Coach May and his guys. If you look at the Calvin Knights, they come in tonight at 9-14, 5-7 in the conference. They're 7-3, Jim, at home, and they're 1-10 on the road. It's a basketball team that, you know, normally you expect this team to get out and compete, because when it comes down to Hope and Calvin, they're normally on the top of the conference with you most years. This has been an odd year for Coach Kevin Van Streek. And Coach Kevin Van de Streek really has not had many years that have not been good ones around here.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The team is 4-6 over the last 10, 3-2 over the last 5. The last 5 games include a victory over Adrian at home, 94-72. They defeated Alma 70-67, lost at home to Hope 76-59, lost that OT game at Trine 75-68, and then bounced back with a big win 97-72, in which they scored in the high 40s both halves against Kalamazoo in the 10th. But you're absolutely right. You're talking about a team that has, you know, their coach, Van de Streek, 22 years there, a 411 and 180 record overall at Calvin. And we'll read some of the accolades as we go on after the, you know, starting lineups and the national anthem. But, I mean, to say that this is unfamiliar territory for the Knights, I think is kind of an understatement, Jim.
Oh, no doubt. They already have 1 national championship, and the coach has 1 under his belt. But that goes all the way back, you know, to 1992. They've had 9 MIAA championships under the coach, and they've been in the NCAA 10 different times, and in the semis a couple of times. So it is a team that normally gets where they want to go before the year is over. They're being led by a couple of seniors here on this basketball team tonight. The one known that jumps at you all the time because he's got that classic basketball name, Tony Canoni, and I've always enjoyed that name, out of South Haven, Michigan. The 6'2" senior guard tonight, averaging about 6 points a night. But around that team, then past that, this becomes a young starting lineup again, because they'll start tonight Austin Bykirk, who is just a junior, Tom Morrison, who is a sophomore, Derek DeVries, who is a sophomore, and Jason Walter, who is a junior. So the starting 5 on this Calvin team, much like the Albion team, made up of an awful lot of sophomores and juniors, and in the Albion side, even throw a freshman or 2 in there that will get an awful lot of time tonight. So these are 2 teams that, while they're not having a great year this year, you might see them improve dramatically next year when all these young fellows take 1 more year down the road.
Yeah, and for the Brits, Jim, one of the players that we really marveled about last game we called, and hopefully we'll be able to call his name quite a bit tonight too and going forward, is Quentin Armstrong.
Yeah.
Really showed us a lot in the last game we called here. Really just did everything hustle-wise that you just love a basketball player to do. And to hear Coach May come up and talk about, you know, how he wasn't, you know, they were still working with him. The coaches were on some of the finer points of basic basketball. I mean, just to me, I could not believe that. To watch him on the floor, how fluid he moves, how aggressive he was, and how he just intuitively, instinctively, he knew that there were lulls in the game where you had to get a loose ball. You had to go up and fight for a rebound. You had to go for a steal or saving a ball out of bounds. And Quentin Jackson was doing all of those things. And to hear that, he's maybe a little newer at the game than some of the other players, it literally blew my mind. So that's a younger player that really plays beyond his years. And, it's something that Coach May has a few players like that where, they're freshmen, but they're getting quality minutes. And, it's only going to help them grow as young men and as players. And it's going to build a different and, I think, better chemistry next year.
I think so, too. And the starters tonight for the Britons, again, as we talked about, we expect it's going to be Robert Ryan at one guard. He's a senior. And Adam Davis will start basically at that forward/center spot here tonight for the Britons. Both of those two at seniors. And then you get, as you said, Quentin Armstrong, who's just a freshman, Nate Collins, who's a junior, and Jawan Perry, who's also a freshman on this basketball team. And all of a sudden, you just really do have a very young team. And again, when you start to look at it, and you look at the normal rotation that you would have on this basketball team, you'll see quite a bit of some more freshmen coming into, Davis will be in here tonight, as we talked about a little bit on this whole thing. Ryan Lowe, the big fella who gets up and knocks things around and bangs things around, is only a junior. So he'll be in tonight, and it should be a whole lot of fun. Arshwan Parker, only a junior. So it'll be a good night of basketball tonight, and I think next year's going to be a whole lot of fun.
But Jim, if you happen to look over behind Calvin and they're warming up over there, you see number 4, Corey Wheeler, sitting in the bleachers, and he has a couple of gigantic ice bags, and he's saran wrapping around those wrists. And so, you don't want to speculate on what potential ailments he has, but at this point, boy, you're talking about the grind of a long season, and you're in the last 2 games at this point. And we also have another player walking with him over there, Nathaniel Collins, number 30. It looks like he's favoring one of those legs. And so, you just kind of see the cumulative total, and they lean a lot on a Corey Wheeler. And, again, as a guard, you're the one who, you bring the ball up contested. You're the one who you're getting a lot of the hand checks and things like that. So it's easy to see how, if you do have a wrist injury, if it's, related to something that's going on the court, the guards tend to take a lot of pounding on the ankles, on the hips, the knees, the wrists, and things like that. And so, it's one of those cumulative effect things that you hate to see it happen, but it's almost inevitable that at some point during the season, you're going to go through those bumps and bruises.
No doubt about that. And from what we understand with Wheeler, it's a twisted ankle, a bad ankle that's been keeping him out. So we'll see what happens with him tonight and whether he'll get to play at all. But the pregame speculation was that he was not going to spend much time, if any time, tonight on the floor here at the Kresge for his last game here at home. And I'm sure that'll make him a very disappointed young fella tonight.
Well, at least
to be part of that.
At least he's in uniform.
Yeah.
So there's a chance.
There is that chance at least, and we'll see how this all goes down. Pretty good crowd starting to come in tonight. It's good to have you with us this evening. If you want to send us a message tonight, Jimmy, how do they go about doing all that stuff?
Shoot us an email at webcast@albion.edu. That's webcast@albion.edu. Did get an email a little bit ago asking if there was going to be sound in the broadcast. I think that was my bad. I forgot to turn up the volume at first when we got started. So hopefully you're able to see us and hear us as we certainly intend that to be the case. And hopefully you drop us a line, let us know where you're watching. If you are a Calvin Knight, let us know where you're watching around the country, who you're rooting for. And if you're a Brit and a current student or perhaps an alum, let us know what year you graduated, family member of a player. We'd love to say hi to you on the air.
Here's Bobby Lee on screen. You saw him right at midcourt as everybody gets out and gets ready for the national anthem tonight, and also the introduction of the players. And we're going to take it down on the floor in just a minute. Our officials tonight: Chad Palmer, David Gentili, and Errol Beatty are our 3 officials tonight. And with that, we're heading down to the scoreboard, the scorer's table, and get this thing going tonight. I think they're ready to get this ball game going. The zeros have hit all the clock, and we'll see exactly what's going to happen here with the pregame ceremony. President of the college, Roy Ditzler, out at the center of the field at this point, too.
Probably going to do a thing for the seniors here first.
To center court in front of the Albion bench as well, as the Briton men's basketball team pauses to recognize contributions of the seniors who are playing in their final home game today. But first, we would also, of course, like to recognize the senior on the Albion cheer team. So, the lone senior on the Albion cheer team this year is Sadie Bergdorf, who is being escorted tonight by Michelle and Greg Bergdorf, their parents. And now, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like to ask that you please stand and remove your caps. Military veterans may remain covered and render the hand salute as we honor America with playing our national anthem being performed by the Albion College Pep Band under the direction of Sam McElhaggard.
you have it, guys. The starting lineups for both these basketball teams this evening as the Britons and the Knights lock horns here tonight at the Kresge. You can probably hear in the background a little bit of the crowd noise that's going on tonight. We expect this to be a pretty loud little place tonight. There's not a huge crowd here, but there's enough of them to make some noise, and you got a pep band, Jimmy. And being the last Wednesday night that these young guys are going to spend on this floor this year, I would have to think this will be a spirited battle tonight for both sides. Both these teams really not playing for any kind of tournament positioning right now. They're just playing for pride.
Yep, and pride can be a very powerful thing. You know, you see players who, you know, supposedly don't have anything to play for in the season, but maybe they have personal goals they've set. So you see them come out, and they may just kick it into a different gear than anybody else is used to. So, you know, you're looking at, you know, senior night, but you have a few underclass players on the floor for the Britons, and you might see a little bit of fire in those young men's eyes because they're looking to Coach May to say, you know, hey, I'm going to be, at least in one case, I think in both cases, a senior next year. I want to lead this team. And so we'll see if we get that from some of those guys.
Armstrong and Bykirk will jump this off, and Armstrong will tip the ball back to his bench. And they're going to say it's Calvin's basketball, and I would agree with them because I think
Quentin Armstrong won that tip.
He definitely did, and the Brits couldn't get to the basketball. So it will actually be Calvin's basketball to start as Canone gets the inbounds pass.
And the crazy thing is now the possession arrow also goes to Calvin.
Breeze gives it back to Canone, who drives across the lane, looks for the backdoor cutter, and it's not there, so he gives it off to Bykirk. Bykirk and Armstrong going to learn each other's name quite often here tonight, I believe. As Bykirk wins this one, he goes up over top and gets the first 2 points of the night. 2-0 right now, Knights.
Round one goes to Bykirk. Nice move inside, but Armstrong playing really good defense. I'm excited to see the ceiling on that young man, Jim.
Collins with the basketball as they swing it back the other way. Kick goes down to the corner. The jump shot by Robert Ryan is off the course. Armstrong almost got over the top and got that one, but couldn't quite, and the Knights have the basketball quickly into the front court.
And Robert Ryan almost out of bounds when he caught that ball to shoot that three in the corner.
Walters took the shot, missed the shot, and the Brits have the basketball back. Collins with his first shot of the night, no good. And again, a rebound comes off to Jason Walter.
One and done for the Brits. This is familiar territory. You know, they get a couple of possessions, one and done, and then somebody scoops up an offensive rebound and kind of kick-starts the team.
Armstrong and Bykirk working themselves down low in that low post area.
Good cutoff defense right there.
Kick outside to DeVries, who gets in the lane, puts up the shot, no good, and Armstrong with those leaps comes down with the basketball.
Had committed to his shot, really, but had no business shooting that one.
Perry lost the handle as he was trying to throw it into the middle of the floor, and on the other end, he'll pick up the foul as the run out by Tom Morrison was going to be an easy two, and Perry decides he'll make him earn it at the free throw line.
Jawan Perry, the freshman guard, on the foul. Will send Tom Morrison to the line. Check the stats on Morrison real quick.
He's got a brother on this basketball team who's a freshman. He hit the first free throw.
And he's that's only his 9th free throw attempt on the season, Jim, but he's made all 9 now, so limited sample size, but can't get any better than perfect.
And he missed the very first one. Good job, Jimmy. Way to do that. Way to jinx him on that last one. Ryan Lowe with a nice box out as the Britons come up with the basketball.
If only we really had that kind of power, right?
Collins swings it around to Ryan, and Ryan will slow things down. Back outside to Perry, to Collins into the corner. Now down inside to Armstrong, who's going to try to make his own little move on that low block.
Nice move.
And a nice job in the first points of the night now for the Britons.
What was to say, senior night, the senior took the first shot, but a freshman scored the first basket. So this is a young team, and they're getting a lot of experience out there, Jim.
Just underway here in the opening half as the jump shot is up, and that'll be a good for 3 if it goes, and it is.
Nice pace, nice touch right there by the big guy.
Nice shot by Derek DeVries, and they're really going to have to watch him outside because he does have some pretty decent numbers from distance this year. Down in the quarter.
44% from 3 in conference play this year, Jim.
That's doing pretty well. Armstrong again attacks the glass and has the bucket. Yeah, 44% is approaching NBA styles. That's there's no doubt about that.
It's pretty good.
Cannoni will bring it in, and Ryan will pick his pocket. 2-on-1. Here comes the Brits to Perry, and Perry, I think, will be undercut by Cannoni.
Didn't have to do that either, because that was a little bit of a train wreck of a fast break right there.
Cannoni's got just in the right spot where the Brits were not able to pull that big slam off, but they will send Perry to the free throw line.
You got to wonder, too, though, for player safety purposes, on an undercut like that on a player who's left his feet, how that's not an intentional foul.
First shot will bounce in and out for Perry.
I mean, thankfully, you know, he gets right back up and seems to show no ill effects from it, but that's as vulnerable as you can get as a player.
Alex Boss will check in here for the Knights. And the second free throw will find its mark. 6-5 now. Brits down by a point.
I was afraid to say anything there for a second. Got very quiet.
Luke Morrison also checked in on that last time out. Another three-point shot from the same spot for DeVries. And it's 9-5 now. Coach Mays shouting out some instructions. Something's got to happen a little bit for the next time. DeVries with the pickoff. Collins going to chase him all the way down the floor. Cuts across the lane and a nice little lay-in there. And the ball gets tipped out of bounds. It will be Knights basketball on this end as an unforced turnover on the other end. We'll give the ball back to Calvin as they're up 11-5 here early.
Jalen Fordham checks in. I believe that was Perry. Nope, not Perry that sat down. We'll get the number of the exchanged player momentarily.
DeVries again back out front to Bykirk to Cannoni. They work to the left side, trying to get down the lane is Morrison. DeVries with a long shot that ends up being a pass and then an and one. And a nice job that time by Alex Bose to get up on that board and put it back in.
The one thing you saw with Jalen Fordham when he checked in is he had DeVries and he was right in his face on that three. Even made a little contact on the follow through, no call, but as you said, just became a long assist and contested lay-in for the and one opportunity.
Caden Ebling will check in now for your Britons, and Ryan Lowe, the senior, will take a seat.
And Bose is an 80%.
And Armstrong is all over that rebound again. And Cannoni
71%, sorry.
Saw that pass and picked it off. And I'll tell you, the Brits just giving some away here early on. Not a good thing. Luke Morrison kicks it out to the corner. DeVries. Cannoni at the top.
I don't think I'll see too many open shots, DeVries.
DeVries now has Armstrong on him. So Armstrong going to play him a little tighter, I'm sure. Straight up three-point shots, no good. The rebound by Ebling. Fights for it, couldn't come up with it. DeVries did and lays it right back in. And Coach May not real happy with some of the action going on right in front of him.
Got a minor assault right there under the basket, but got out fought for the ball.
DeVries trying to take that basketball away from Jalen Fordham, and Fordham outran him to it.
And he's playing spirited ball, though.
Perry with the jumper, no good, too high. Cannoni pulls it down. DeVries from a straight-on three gives it up to Luke Morris on the right side. He'll dribble across the lane and then kick it off to Cannoni. Ball again goes outside to Alex Bose. And now we work the opposite direction. Morrison gets cut off on the lane. 7 to shoot, 6 to shoot, 5 to shoot. Shot goes up, no good by Bykirk, and the rebound comes off to Ebling.
Yeah, Ebling's not going to get out fought for that one.
Fordham all the way to the rim underneath everybody and is able to find that glass for his first two tonight. And I think Coach May is going to take a timeout and chat things over. 14:47 to go here in the opening quarter, and the Brits find themselves down by 8. Here early on, Jimmy, things are not going all that well for the Brits, shooting 40% compared to almost 55% for Calvin.
Well, it's the number of field goal attempts. They've doubled them up so far, almost 6 of 11 for Calvin, as opposed to only 3 of 6 for the Brits. And a lot of that is turnovers. 5 turnovers for the Brits, only 2 turnovers for Calvin. And they've converted 7 points off those turnovers so far. So the story of the game so far has been missed opportunities by the Brits, but tremendous defensive pressure by the Knights.
No doubt about that. Well, I'll tell you what, the Brits are going to have to stop giving the basketball up tonight. If they're going to keep choking it up, they're going to have a long night against these Calvin Knights, because they're coming in here trying to win this ball game. You can just see the focus and the effort here early on.
Yep.
And they have basically stepped into anything that looked like it was telegraphed and come up with it. And the Brits have done a good job of telegraphing here and there. Ryan Lowe now checks into the basketball game for the Britons. And also Arshwan Parker checks in for the Brits as well off that last dead ball. And James L. Davis, too, comes onto the floor. So 3 new Britons on the floor right now with 14.5 to play in this opening half. Good job by Parker playing a little defense. Jump shot is a little bit long, and the whistle will come on the shot. And I'm not sure whether it's a shooting foul or whether it was on the floor. Jalen Fordham was the young guy that got the call. And I think it's going to be before the shot. And so the ball will be inbounds right here below us, right in front of the Britons bench.
You call that what, a common foul?
Common foul against the Brits. We'll take that because that looked like it might be a shooting foul, which would have sent you there for 3. Not a good situation. 14-14 to play, opening half of basketball here.
Nice pass.
Down on the baseline, the jump shot will be a little long, and Ebling's right there to pull it in.
So Ebling got out, fought for that first rebound, but he's shown a little bit more physical presence underneath the last 2 defensive rebounds.
Fordham kicks it back outside to Davis. Davis goes inside to the big guy, and Lowe's double teamed on the block. Swings to the right side, jump shot's wild, but there's the big fellow with the rebound and the putback. And Ryan Lowe hasn't been on the floor but about a minute, and he's starting to make his big presence felt here tonight at the Kresge.
Lowe is a tremendous force, and if he's in the right position, is a beautiful pass. Mistake right there not to take that shot.
Ran out of real estate down there and didn't take the shot. He got it back out front, and the shot was made by Michael Wilkes.
And I'll say this to finish the thought on Ryan Lowe, Jim. If he can develop that quick turnaround step and a quick stuff instead of a lay-in, that guy's going to get you probably 16 points a night.
No doubt about that. Ebling in the corner. They go into the big guy who's double-teamed, and the reach-in foul is going to go against one of them. Let's see which one. They'll go after number 50, Jason Walter. For Walter, that's his first. That's now 2 on the team. Neither team right at this point in time in any danger. 3 on the Britons right now, 2 for the Knights so far. Lob pass comes into Ebling. Kicks it back outside to Parker. Back over to Ebling, who puts it on the floor. Spins up in the air, leaves it a little short.
Nice move, just didn't finish.
Luke Morris pulls it down. Sends it up to the floor to Michael Wilkes, who gets cut off down along the baseline, but still the follow-away goes in.
He was not giving up on that possession, Wilkes.
Wilkes says that follow-away had just enough room to give it over Lowe, and that he did. It's a 10-point game again. Jump shot for 3 is a little bit too hard, and the battle on the boards goes to the smallest guy in the pile. That's Canoni who comes out with it.
Picked the low spot off the rebound right there. As Lowe had his hand on it as well, but that's what the good guards with the quick feet and the strong hands will do, is they'll swipe that one.
Luke Morris ran out of real estate, fell onto the floor, and the Brits come back the other way with the basketball, and there's a 3-pointer that'll finally be good for Jalen Fordham. So for Fordham now, that's his first bucket of the night. And at the 12-minute mark, the Brits now cut it down to 7. Good basketball game, and great to have you with us here at the Kresge this evening. Ball swings left side, down in the corner.
Pretty good defense by the Brits out here. Nice cutoff by Lowe. No travel.
Very close to a step right there. But instead, the jump shot comes from 15 on the left wing for Luke Morrison, and just like that, it's 21-12 with 11.5 to play in the half.
That 2 almost travels don't matter if you get 2 on the board.
Fordham goes to the rim, no good. Ball gets tipped out of bounds and will go off, I believe, by Kirk, and will stay with the Britons. Armstrong will check back in, and Ryan Lowe will come to the bench.
I like these 2 subbing in and out for each other. Lowe's a great physical presence. Armstrong comes in with the hops and with the speed, and you kind of just, you wear him down with speed, and then you wear him down with strength.
Whole different dynamic, isn't it? There's no doubt about that.
But both command the same kind of respect.
Ebling with the basketball. They'll look left side. Down on the baseline is Armstrong, who's double teamed.
Nice ball fake.
Jump shot goes up by Parker, no good. And the box out is broken by Armstrong, who gets it to Ebling.
Take it back out.
New 30-second clock, plenty of time. Jump shot for three, spins in and out. And the rebound comes off to Jason Walter.
Everything was beautiful about that rebound and that extra possession right there. Just could not get that shot to drop.
You will have that every now and then. All of a sudden, Carlos Amaros Gutierrez thought he had a cutter going down that lane. Unfortunately, they weren't on the same page as Jason Walter pulled up, and Gutierrez threw it out of bounds. 21-12 still, right around the 11-minute mark here in the opening half. Noisy Kresge Gymnasium tonight, as we're coming to the end of the MIAA season. Armstrong swings it to Fordham on the right side, back out front, into the corner. Armstrong with a double team. Well, he tried to make this move on the baseline. Sends Davis outside. Somebody's swing right side.
Somebody's got to look to take a shot here, Jim. Good screen. Got to put this one up.
3 seconds, 2 seconds. Davis on the turnaround and the fall away. And James L. Davis has his first bucket of the night. And the Brits have it back down to 7 again.
Good concentration, good tough turnaround, good defense against him, but he was still able to get a little separation and knock it down.
Morrison drives to the free throw line, turns, sets, shoots, and somehow that one just stayed in that box and went down.
That side, that right side of the gym, that rim just seems so forgiving. Very soft.
Ebling gives the ball to Fordham. Swings it down inside to Armstrong, who gets up above everybody and lays that one in. And a good assist by Davis.
It's all in where that pass was. He was able to catch him in rhythm, cutting towards the basket, as opposed to throwing an entry pass that forces him to step away from the basket.
James L. Davis with a nice little lead pass on that one. We're under 10 minutes to play.
Wide open. Ooh, bad pass.
Brits all over the place. They strip this one out. But the fight for the basketball goes to Walter, and a nice job of hustling. And the three-point shot will be a little bit short, and Ebling will pull it down, and the whistle will go against 44, Derek DeVries.
Cookie jar foul right there. They've been doing such a great job, the Knights have, of getting those loose balls, that every once in a while on a rebound, you want to poke and you want to try to get that loose ball one more time. And that's the cookie jar. You got your hand caught in the cookie jar, and you get the whistle.
Canoni will check back into the basketball game here for the Knights. And the Brits also check Quay Burks into this contest. So we're down to 9 minutes and 18 seconds to play here in this first half. And the Britons down 7, need a bit of a push here to get to the intermission. Armstrong on the block.
That elbow that swung around right there, you got to be careful with that.
Bykirk's right behind him there, just waiting on him. And here he goes with that quick move and the little flying hook shot for an easy 2.
So much speed off that first step. You just can't teach that.
8 for Armstrong now. Brits now shooting about 44% of the night. Unfortunately for Calvin, he's shooting 56% tonight. DeVries sets up with the free throw line, and boy, that's an easy one. Yeah, I'll tell you what. He's finding these spots right now and knocking them down, 25-18.
Inside and outside the three-point line, too, so you have to respect him pretty much from half court on.
Fordham gives it back out to Davis. They'll swing this thing around to Collins and then to Burks in the corner. He'll bring it back outside.
Big battle going on down low.
Nice job of getting underneath and finding that rim as James L. Davis kind of hangs in midair just long enough to get off that little floater. 25-20.
Marveling at the fact that he makes the after-contact shots look so easy.
Bykirk dishes out to Gutierrez, and he knocks down the 3. So Gutierrez with the three-point shot from the corner makes it 28-20 again. It's an 8-point contest. Burks to Fordham.
Good battle down low. Good no call, too, even though they're getting tangled up.
Fordham waits and watches. 10 seconds to shoot. Dribbles, finds his spot, and locks one in.
Nice shot.
So now we're starting to rain a few threes here at the Kresge, which is a good sign for the Britons as it's back to 5. Ooh. 7.5 to play in the basketball game's first half. DeVries has some coverage on him, so he'll give it up to Canoni. Dribbles left hand, spins at the free throw line. He's got coverage there, so he'll give it up. Back to Cannoni. Nice jump shot from about 18, but it's a little bit too strong, and Burks is right there to muscle that one down.
Yeah, muscled a few things down right there.
Oh, three-point shot for James L. Davis, and Davis now has 7, and the Brits are within 2. And Coach Vanderstreet says, hey, we better talk this thing over for just a minute.
Yep, that's trying to cool down a hot streak right now. You have a Albion Britain's team that's on fire. Jim, want to let folks know that Albion College celebrates Black History Month, February 1 through 25, so it's still going on. The Albion College Theater explores a little bit about love, February 15 through 24. And let's talk about the second short film showcase. The Albion College Prentice M. Brown Honors Program hosted second annual short film festival at the historic Bohm Theater on Tuesday. Actually, that was yesterday, my bad. So hopefully if you went, you had a good time.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's see if the other reads we have here real quick. Justin Cooper, artist Justin Cooper, whose work is currently on display at Albion College, will discuss his work this Friday the 16th at 1 p.m. in the Bobbitt Visual Arts Center. It closes on the 17th, so give us a call at 571-629-0246 or visit albion.edu/art.
Brits go a little bit bigger as they bring Ryan Lowe back on the floor here to play a little basketball. Both back into the ball game as well. Jump shot will be a little short by DeVries this time, but the reach-in foul on Dylan Bennett will send DeVries to the free throw line to shoot a couple. Neither team really, again, in any free throw problems. I mean, 3 team fouls right now for Calvin and 4 team fouls for the Britons. Shooting foul, though, will send DeVries, who hits 74% of them, to the free throw line, and he misses that first one.
Yep, even goes up to 79% in conference play.
So he'll get another one. I'll tell you what, he's been deadly every place else tonight, Jimmy, but this, yep, there you go. You got the second one on me. Thought maybe that would jinx him just a little bit the same way you did. DeVries will take a seat. Michael Wilkes will come out in his place.
Only I have the power.
You do have the power. There's no doubt about that.
Right. You and I both know if we had that power, we'd already won the lotto.
Right now, he's 5 for 7 from the floor tonight, 2 for 3 for distance this evening with 12 total points. He leads all scorers as he takes his seat here at the Kresge. Bennett swings it over the right side to Parker.
Nice pass.
Jump shot from the right side goes down to Robert Ryan, and that's a three-pointer, and that ties it all up at 29.
Senior knocks down a triple right there from the corner, and that brings the audience participation up just a smidge.
Wilkes gets cut off along the baseline by Bennett.
Yeah.
16 to shoot right here as the noise level on that end's a little bit louder than the other end. Gutierrez puts it up, no good, but right there to put it right back in is Jason Walter.
Somebody left their spot.
It's been a battle underneath all night long.
And then Quay Burks right there kind of went for a rebound, I think, and went a little too far.
Burks fakes the shot, kicks it back out front to Perry.
Got a foul. I believe that one's going on Carlos Amoros Gutierrez. That'll be number 1 on Gutierrez.
And that puts Perry on the free throw line here to have his first shot of the night. Perry only hitting 56% from the line, but he gets the first one.
I want to remind folks to send us an email at webcast@albion.edu. That's webcast@albion.edu. Let us know where you're watching, who you're rooting for, the Brits. And we'll be sure to say hi to you on the air.
And the second one goes down, that ties it back up at 31. 5:39 to play in this first half of basketball. Halftime, we'll check in on the end around the conference and see how it's going elsewhere as we wrap up the last couple games here of the season and get ready for the postseason.
Nice move.
Walter with a nice turnaround and a stuff as he got behind everybody and a nice little pass.
Went to set the screen, and before he set the screen, he saw the open spot and just rolled, and that's a good heads-up move by the ball handler right there for Calvin as well.
And Burke on the other side answers quickly and ties it back up.
That's what you need to do, Jim, when you get dunked on your home court. That can be a real emotional low, so you just answer right away with a basket, and that makes everything else go away.
Boy, that one just kind of got thrown out of bounds. Alex Boss Thought he had a guy cut in that direction again on the different page, and that's a turnover for Calvin. We'll check real quick and see how many that is now. For Calvin so far, that is number 3 on the night.
Turnover?
Yep.
Yeah.
In fact,
That's the first one they've had for a while.
It really has been. Brits still with just 5, and they had that for a while too. Bennett gets it to Ryan. Ryan looking for a little bit of space, and there it is.
Look at that. Nice.
The senior says, I'm not going to try to leave this night here without making a statement or two. Cannoni has Ryan all over him.
Nice
down the corner,
pass.
all by himself is Boson. He won't take the shot.
Lowe needs to get back under the basket. Need to switch there.
Lowe comes out. Shot is missed. Rebound comes off to Perry. Brits have an opportunity to stretch this lead. They've been trailing all the first half. Oh, in and out. Cannoni's right there to pull that thing down.
I like the shot.
When you take a look at Cannoni's numbers, man, he gets numbers all over the place. Rebounds, assists, points, all-around basketball player. Jump shot for 3, a little bit short. Ball gets tipped out of bounds, but it'll go off Michael Wilkes.
Yep.
It'll be Britain's basketball. Armstrong and Ebling will check back in.
Came over the top of Ryan right there on that rebound. Little guy not getting any love by the official.
No doubt about that.
Stick up for the guards here for a minute. He's going off his feet for that rebound, but because he didn't make any contact with him going over the top, they didn't call it.
Fordham in for Perry as well, as the Brits have 3:43 to play in this first half and a 2-point lead, 35-33. Trailed by as many as 10 here early on, but have fought their way back in to take this lead here before the half. See if they can stretch it out a little bit. Bennett. Ebling down into Armstrong. Single team. Yeah, I'll go for the little hook shot. Yep. No. Tipped out of bounds, and I think it'll be Britain's basketball. Yep. Off of Jason Walter.
I like the battle down there with Ebling. Armstrong in a similar battle with Bykirk.
And they put Derek DeVries back into the basketball game, and they'll sit down Michael Wilkes on the other side for Calvin.
And my favorite part about those battles, Jim, is you haven't seen a whistle with any of them yet.
No, it's
just guys going for position, fighting for the ball. Let them play. Yep.
Good, solid, clean game of basketball here early. That's for darn sure.
You see denial, you see the repositioning, you see some hand checking. I mean, welcome to the paint, you know.
Ebling lets one fly for 3, no good, and Armstrong wrestles the rebound down.
Long shot usually means long rebound.
Bennett brings it back over to Davis. Davis almost dragged that foot across the floor a little too far.
That tiptoe somehow stayed on the ground.
Armstrong left the hook shot a little bit low, and the rebound comes off to Bykirk. Cannoni going to run it. Kick over to the left side. The Britons get back on defense nicely. DeVries again gets into that lane and puts that runner up. And well, I'll tell you what,
hitting from everywhere tonight.
6 for 8 now from the floor for DeVries. He's got 15. He leads everybody.
Knocking down those 2 threes early definitely helped build his confidence tonight.
Fordham gets it to Armstrong. Swing it to the right side over to Davis. Bring it back out front again.
Look at the battle down low.
Lob goes to Armstrong, who kicks it back out to Jalen for the corner. No good, and the rebound again comes off to Walter.
Just a game of inches right there. That hits far side of the rim, and it kicks straight up, but just far enough out. Bad pass out of bounds. That's the second turnover, and I believe the last 3 trips down on bad passes.
Cannoni was the intended receiver on that one, but he was heading towards the basket, and the pass was expected to come back to him, I think, and the turnover gives the ball back to the Brits with $1:55 to play.
Low for Armstrong again, Jim, so you haven't seen those 2 on the floor together, so you have to think that that's, you know, the intentional pattern.
Well, it sure will wear you out a little bit. You're having to fight the big fella, and then the guy comes in here who can jump out of the gym. 2 different guys entirely as Fordham gets around the screen and knocks down about a 12-footer. That's 10 for Fordham now tonight. And the Britons go back on top by a basket. Cannoni down the lane, dishes off to Bykirk. Bykirk can't get it to go, but he'll get the foul.
Got a foul on Low, got the wrist on the way up. You're either all ball or you're all wrist right there, and unfortunately, where he swung that big right hand ended up hitting wrist.
Jimmy, you know, if I told you both these teams were 5-7 in the conference, you probably would agree with that because they look like two evenly matched basketball teams tonight.
Yeah, very much so. Two hungry 5-7 teams. And that was one of the things that when you talk about two teams that are pretty much out of the postseason picture, you know, that's where you start as a fan. That's where you start asking, you know, well, you know, other than senior night, you know, what do the guys have to play for you? You know, even if you win out, you're probably not getting in the tournament. But they're still battling hard. Both squads are, and it's excellent to watch.
Bykirk got 1 out of 2. Ebling got the rebound. The Brits have the basketball in the front court. Minute 17 to play in this first half. Bennett with the basketball. Heads towards the right quarter. Now he lobs it into Ebling. Ebling will drive the lane, spin off the glass.
Yes.
Perfect shot. They teach you that back in high school. Nice little stop, nice little turn, use the box, 2 points.
I'll say hi to Ken Rodenhouse, a Calvin fan watching from Greenville, Michigan. Thank you so much for tuning in, Ken.
Fordham swats that away from Luke Morrison. And Morrison said, holy smokes, what happened there? Thought I had an easy one. Jalen Fordham says, not tonight. Both teams playing at both ends at 110%. Bennett drives, left side jump shot off front iron, tip, and Fordham's going to pull it back in again.
Hold for one. Nah, shoot it.
Fordham for 3, no good, and DeVries pulls down the rebound. I think Coach May was down here saying the same thing, Jimmy. But everybody, they thought they had a great look from the corner.
They did, yep.
You know?
And at this point, you know, I mean, go for it.
Yep, you knock that down,
probably
you're up 6.
Probably going to have the lead at halftime anyway.
3-point cushion right now for the Brits with 8 seconds, 7 seconds. DeVries lets fly, and he has it right in the middle of that box as well. 39 all. This will count if it goes. James L. Davis gave it a shot from midcourt.
See, I told you they should have held for one. Kidding.
And with that 3-point bucket just before the buzzer by Derek DeVries, it's a 39-39 contest here at the half, and I'll tell you what a ball game this has been so far, Jimmy.
It's a conversation Coach May is having down there with Jalen Fordham, too.
There you go. Yeah, let's take a look at some of the first quarter stats, or the first half stats, Jimmy. It's 39 all is the, well, again, let's wait for just a second while they update. Right now they got, we're still at 30.
You know that DeVries has 3 more points than what they had him for before.
Yep.
Because he's the one who hit the 3 to tie it at the end of the half.
That should make it happen. 39-39 right now. And overall,
so Calvin 16 to 29.
Yep.
We can do the easy math on that one. 4 of 9, so just under 50% from 3. 3 of 7 from the charity stripe. 16 of 31, so more field goal attempts by the Brits. Remember, for a while there, they were doubling them up. I think it was 11 to 6 field goal attempts early. So the Brits stopped turning the ball over so much. They ended the half with 5. They had 5 turnovers, Jim, I think 6 minutes into the contest.
Early. Yeah, very early.
So they did an excellent job protecting the ball. Rebounds advantage goes to Albion 19 to 12, including 13 on the defensive side. Both teams doing a pretty good job sharing the ball. 6 assists for Calvin, 5 for the Brits. Neither team really in any foul trouble. Again, those 4 steals, that was really more an early in the first half situation for the Knights. The Brits, like I said, did a better job of taking care of the basketball. And I think that substitution of Armstrong and Lowe going back and forth really started to kind of wear them down, wear some of their big guys down. But again, you can't say enough about, you know, DeVries, especially Derek DeVries. 7 of 9 from the floor, 18 points, 3 of 4 from 3-point territory. He leads all scorers. 4 points apiece for Luke Morrison, Michael Wilkes, and Jason Walter. 3 points for Carlos Amoros Gutierrez. 3 also for Austin Bykirk. 2 for Alex Boston, 1 for Tom Morrison. That rounds out the scoring for 39 points for the Calvin Knights. And for the home squad, Jalen Fordham leads them with 10 points on 4 of 7 shooting. He's hit 2 3-pointers. Quentin Armstrong, 8 points and 6 rebounds. 7 points for James L. Davis. 5 points for Robert Ryan. 3 for Jawan Perry. 2 apiece for Quay Burks, Cade Nebeling, and Ryan Lowe. And that rounds out the scoring for the hometown Brits. And again, an excellent basketball game. It was all Calvin early because of the defense. The adjustments made with Coach May and the squad taking better care of the basketball. And then just frankly starting to knock down shots.
Yeah,
I know that's
yeah.
a no-duh statement that when you knock down shots, all of a sudden you're scoring more points, but it sounds like something John Madden would probably tell you.
Probably so.
But again, you know, you take better care of the basketball. You stretch out the defense. They're executing very well in the half-court sets. And all of a sudden now, you can't key in on one particular player. So it balances itself out. And a lot of guys stepped up and scored. And so, again, that keeps the defense guessing. You don't have to focus on one person. Everybody's contributing. That's why you have a balanced attack. That's why you clawed your way back in and you're tied at the half.
No doubt about that. Both teams right now are shooting over 50% from the floor. Both teams very desperately wanting to come down with a win here tonight. Both of these teams on the year, well, Albion, they average 78 a night. Calvin averaged 77 a night. So they're both on pace for those numbers here this evening. Calvin allows 77 to be scored on an evening, and Albion normally 72. So if those numbers hold up tonight, the Brits can get that final Wednesday night win for the men here as the 17-18 season comes to an end. And with that, we're going to step away for a couple, get something to drink, take a look around the conference. When we'll come back, we'll update you on the MIAA and get you ready for the second half here on the Briton Sports Network.
Let you in on a little secret. In 2018, we're going to begin construction on a new downtown studio theater. Now, this space is going to be located in a storefront right on Superior Street adjoining the Bohm Theater. And we're so excited about this because it's going to be a true shared use facility. It's going to be just as much a part of the college as it is a part of the community art scene. It can be converted just within the course of a few hours from a live music venue. It has a sprung floor, so it will be perfect for dance performances. There's a large playing space that will accommodate theater in lots of different configurations. We could do things in the rounds. We could do things in a thrust space if we like. Our students are so enthusiastic about being able to take the campus art scene downtown. And so we're no longer going to just be in the community of Albion, but actually of the community. That means that we want to perform downtown. The students want to reach a broader audience. They want to draw in people from Albion and the surrounding towns, and they want to attract a bigger dialogue and host forums that attract people far and wide. Additionally, this facility is going to allow the organizations in town that have currently nowhere to perform or rehearse, and it's going to have an open door feel where anybody who is interested in focus and has a plan to present a piece of art, be it dance or live music or theater, or anything else that someone can dream up, will have an appropriate venue available to them for the first time. And this is really something that we see as a cultural beachhead in town. This is a way to show that Albion is invested in growing and collaborating with the local art scene. The theater department especially is so thrilled about this project because it's the first step in revitalizing our facilities as a department, and is hopefully the first phase of what will eventually become an expanded, brand new theater arts complex right downtown in the heart of Albion. We're so grateful for your support, and we appreciate you dreaming with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
I'm also a science major in pre-med, and I have to take a lot of hard classes, and just being able to go into the practice room and just take out all my stress on the piano is really a great feeling.
Music and the music department as a whole has been so important to me because that's where my family is. People like me coming together and creating something that's more than us, something that's so beautiful and so important to us that it just sort of transcends everything else that we do.
Everyone, it doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter what language you speak, you can understand whether I'm playing like a melodious piece or whether I'm playing an angry piece, you know, music is universal.
I came from a very traditional family, very musical all the way through. I sang in choirs in church all the way through high school. My parents loved opera. And so they would take me and my two older brothers to the opera. And I loved that aspect of music because it was not only singing, but it was dancing. It was everything all combined into one.
Well, our first gifts were very small, but eventually we started giving more and just kept stepping it up whenever we could. We saw our gifts being used and utilized in a proper and in a moral, ethical way. And so we were encouraged to keep giving more. We started thinking, what are the things that are missing on the Albion College campus that we could try to get to come in to increase the enrollment and increase the experiences of the students that are there.
Anything to get the music department out of the basement of the chapel is a good idea. To have a music building and a special place that they can call their home should make for a much more interesting adventure to a lot of young people.
I walked out of the chapel steps today as we come out of the basement, and I'm standing in front of my band, you know, my friends, my family, and I said, I want nothing more than for people to be able to see us, for people to appreciate everything we've put in.
I think a new music facility will be such a huge improvement and will be so beneficial to not just the music department, but to the college as a whole.
The more we thought about it, we said, you know, it makes sense because music is the language of the universe, so why not go with the music? The choice that the campus helped us with was a good one.
We would encourage others to give back to Albion as we have, because it has enriched our lives.
Music is such a discipline that you have to be a determined person. You have to be very diligent. You have to practice your instrument and hone your craft every single day. And that kind of work ethic goes over to my business studies. It goes over to French and Spanish. It goes over to my jobs. It allows me to work harder and become a more well-rounded student. So music indirectly impacts everything else that I do here at Albion.
So the music building is a special gift that we thought would be really a needed thing for the campus and for the students. It's not for us, it's for them.
Hi, I'm
also
Zach Fisher. I'm chair of the theater department at Albion College, and I'm going to let you in on a little secret.
Dance major in pre-med, and I have to take a lot of hard classes, and just being able to go into the practice room and just take out all my stress on the piano is really a great feeling.
Music and
오빤 강남 스타일 강남 스타일 낮에는 따사로운 인간적인 여자 커피 한 잔에 여유를 아는 품격 있는 여자 밤이 오면 심장이 뜨거워지는 여자 그런 반전 있는 여자 너는 선호해 낮에는 너만큼 따사로운 그런 선호해 커피 식기도 전에 원샷 때리는 선호해 밤이 오면 심장이 터져버리는 선호해 그런 선호해 아름다워 사랑스러워 그래 너 hey. 그래 바로 너 hey. 아름다워 사랑스러워 그래 너 hey. 그래 바로 너 hey. 지금부터 갈 때까지 가볼까 오빤 강남 스타일 강남 스타일 오빤 강남 스타일 강남 스타일 오빤 강남 스타일 여자 가렸지만 웬만한 노출보다 야한 여자 그런 감각적인 여자 나는 선어해 점잖아 보이지만 놀 땐 노는 선어해 내가 되면 완전 미쳐버리는 선어해 근육보다 사상이 올통벌통한 선어해 그런 선어해 아름다워 사랑스러워 그래 너 그래 바로 너 아름다워 사랑스러워 그래 너 그래 바로 너 지금부터 갈 때까지 가볼까 오빤 강남스타일 강남스타일 오빤 강남스타일 강남스타일 오빤 강남스타일 에이 섹시 레이디 오빤 강남스타일 에이 섹시 레이디 뛰는 놈그 위에 나는 놈 베이베 베이베 나는 뭘 좀 아는 놈 뛰는 놈 그 위에 나는 놈 베이베 베이베 나는 뭘 좀 아는 놈 You know what I'm saying 오빤 강남스타일 섹시 레이디 오빤 강남스타일 섹시 레이디 오빤 강남스타일
And we're back here at Kresge Gymnasium as we're about ready to get things going in the second half. As the Britons and the Knights are dead light right now at 39, and we'll get you updated for halftime scores around the conference as we get going right now. 22 is Juan Perry, who will be inbouncing the basketball for the Britons, and he'll toss the ball into James L. Davis. Brits will start with a little bit different lineup. It'll be Armstrong, Kalen Ebling also in the ball game, and then you've got Nathaniel Collins with the basketball right now. Back down to Armstrong. He'll work in the paint. Gives it that up fake. Spins, turns, shoots, no good. Ebling with the rebound, back up short. And the rebound comes off and fought for. It comes off to Calvin there.
Armstrong waited too long on that one, Jim.
Yeah, just he's going to have to make up his mind and go get it.
I think he second-guessed himself on that one, yeah.
No doubt about that. Tom Morrison in the ball game swings it to the right side. The jump shot will catch the front of the iron and then skim over for Tony Cannoni. And for Cannoni, that's his very first bucket of the night. Hard to imagine as much as he's touched that basketball tonight. Derek DeVries also in the game. Jason Walter and Austin Bykirk will start the game here. That was the starting five for Calvin here when they opened the ball game.
Cannoni hasn't really been looking to shoot as much tonight.
He really not a shooter. He really does a little bit of everything.
More of a distributor, yeah.
Get 4 or 5 and get that many assists and get that many rebounds, and he just kind of does it all a little bit all the way around. That's 10 now for Armstrong as this ball game's knotted up again, and this might be one of those dogfights all the way to the end tonight, Jimmy.
Yep. I think it will be.
Bykirk and Armstrong hooking up on the low block. Kicks back out to Walter. Cannoni for the jump shot for 3, and there you go. He's hit 2 in a row.
Yep. I want to take a moment, Jim, to say hi to Butch Cornett, class of '67, watching from Roscommon. Said several of my former teammates are in the house, with Coach Turner including Hall of Famer Larry Downs, leading scorer and the highest scoring team in Brit history, 65. Said, go Brits, looking forward to a big second half.
Nice right-hander as it gets around the corner there as Juan Perry able to shield off the defender and get the lay-in there. 44-43 now. Britons trail by a point. Cannoni with 5. He averages 6 a night. He's got 5 on his last 2 possessions right now. As Walter shows his hook shot off, but that one spins out. DeVries with the shot from outside the three-point line, and he's got it. He pulled down that rebound, says, I'm going right to my spot out here, and bang. 40-43. Boy, he has. Unconscious. He's hit pretty decent numbers as the year went on. 49 and 43%. 49 from the floor, 43 from behind the arc on the entire season. But, man, he's hitting way above that here tonight. We'll check on it just a minute for you. Britton's with 7 to shoot.
4th three or 5th three.
Armstrong is the young man that pulls the trigger, and it's back to 2 points. I'll tell you what, boy, he is going to be fun to watch, Jimmy. DeVries is now 8 for 10, 4 for 5 from behind the arc.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Cannone gets cut off on the baseline, then he finds his way back around. He'll give it to DeVries, who'll drive that baseline, and he'll get it knocked back into his face, but the official on the scene says, nope, got a little bit of ball as well.
Going to get that one on Collins. That'll be his first. One player for each team getting ready to check in. Looks like Boss for the Knights and Fordham for the Brits on the next after the make or miss.
DeVries knocks that one down. He has 22 points now on the night.
That's a pretty good night.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of basketball left.
Yeah, we're just barely into this second half. Davis comes down to talk to the coach, and DeVries makes both of them. So give him 23 already. For a young fellow that averages 15 a night, he's earning way over his paycheck here early.
Having a night.
Brits find themselves down by 4. That's very reminiscent of the first half as they opened up a little slow, got themselves down a little bit by as many as 10, and then fought themselves back into the ball game, went up by a half a dozen, and then it was tied at halftime. Fordham had the ball knocked away, and then on the try to retake, there was a reach-in foul that will go against the Calvin Knights.
Morrison.
42. Tommy Morrison will get that one.
Hacked in the act will send him to the line for a pair. Morrison looked a little surprised on that one.
He's over here.
I understand the surprise too, because I'm thinking he's probably figuring Perry might have lost the handle on that one before the contact.
Yeah.
But, I think the contact is what caused him to lose the handle. So it's the, which happened first kind of deal.
Luke Morrison now will check in for his brother Tom. Both these young guys out of Bristol, Indiana, Northridge High School. Fordham with his second one, and he'll be right on the money with that one. That cuts this back down to a 3-point contest. A couple scores from halftime around the men's side. It was Olivet over Hope 32-19, and Kalamazoo was above Trine 28-26 at the half, and Adrian led Alma 32-29 at the half. I'm sure all those games about where we are here in the second half as we open things up, just about the same time.
Ebling with nice defense in interior right there.
Cannone with a fall-away jumper, no good. Ebling skies up and pulls down that rebound in the crowd. Fordham brings it in. Jalen decides to dish off to Davis, who stops and pops from 3, and Armstrong had the ball and then had it stripped. Alex Boast with that takeaway. DeVries follows Cannone down the floor, puts up a 3-point shot and misses it, but the rebound comes to Luke Armstrong. Siphoned back outside to Cannone.
Nice ball fake.
Jump shot comes from Alex Boast. And that's his 4th point of the night, and the lead goes back to 5.
A lot of the Knights have used the ball fake very effectively tonight to get that defender to commit.
Armstrong.
Take that extra step, free up much needed space for an easier shot.
Works a little deeper into that paint and then kicks the ball outside to Jalen Fordham, who finds an open lane and lays it in.
Timeout.
Coach May wants to take a timeout with that one.
It's be a 30-second.
Take a look around the ladies' side of the schedule here tonight. Hope leads Adrian tonight 40-16 at the half. Calvin has beaten Olivet 42-19. Albion is trailing Kalamazoo at the half 26-25. And Alma starting to pull away from St. Mary's 35-24. Remember on the women's side, Trine and Hope, Calvin and Albion, they're the 4 top teams, and they look like they're pretty much ensconced into those 4 spots, Jimmy.
All right, Jim, I'm about to read you an email from a viewer.
Okay, man.
Coach May's mom, Kathy.
Oh, boy, there you go.
Watching. Guess where in the United States she's watching?
Oh, gosh. How about Panama City, Florida?
Kauai, Hawaii.
Oh.
You're killing us.
And we
are so appreciative. And
you didn't invite us along, is what we're, it's Valentine's Day. We could have made an exception. Coach would have understood.
Yeah.
He would have. Bykirk down the low block there with Ryan Lowe. Lowe is able to seal him off and knock the ball away. Morrison comes up with the basketball, and then a reach-in foul, I believe, will go against Fordham, I believe, on 20. Yep.
Usually that's the whistle that goes against Ryan Lowe.
Yeah, it really is.
It just shows you, he's figuring out those little things you need to do. It's not just about, your size and your reach. Sometimes it's about, where you go with that hand, that arm when the shot's coming up. At what point in the trajectory do you go for the block? And, he's starting to figure those little nuances out.
Wilkes makes the first one. Bykirk sits down, and Walter will take his spot in between Quade Burks and Dylan Bennett, who checked in as well for the Britons. Robert Ryan, number 3 as well. Second one is also good, and that stretches the lead back to 5. 14:53, plenty of time in this basketball game. Robert Ryan looking to make something happen. Fordham, jump shot, no good. Rebound comes off to Walters. Out to Cannoni. Going left side to Bose. Back to Walter at the top of the key. It's a basketball team that's done a nice job shooting from outside tonight, and bang, there goes another one from Alex Bose. Just like that, it's an 8-point game. Very similar to that first half, Jimmy.
Very much so. Except the Brits aren't really turning it over in this case like they did at the start of the first half, but Calvin is just coming out hot again.
Burks trying to feed it into the big fella, and they did. If you try hard enough, Ryan Lowe can find a way to get open.
And Cannoni right there, all he could try to do was when Lowe caught it around the hip, try to get that quick swipe, but as soon as he brought it up, I mean, he's going to finish.
Then just get out of the way.
Yep, pretty much. Just tip your cap at that one and say, good shot, let's go.
Oh, man, another sharpshooter on the other end. Luke Morrison knocks down a triple, and it's 59-50 now.
Threes are contagious.
9-point contest. Ryan again goes inside. Back outside to Bennett for 3. Yes.
Good answer.
Here we go.
Not that you can necessarily trade threes for threes, and you certainly don't expect Calvin to knock every 3-point shot down, but man alive.
That space outside that big arc starting to get real warm.
And check foul, I believe, on Bennett. Number 2 on Bennett.
That'll be a common foul, so it will be inbounds underneath the basket here on the Calvin end. Burks will come in and sit down, and they'll bring Caden Ebling back into the basketball game.
13-19 to play in the second half.
Ebling came out to avoid that 3-point shot. Cannoni kicks it down into the left corner, but a nice job by Fordham to get out and play some defense. 12 to shoot. Turn around. It'll be short. Walters couldn't get it. Ryan couldn't get it. Then he did get it. A whole lot of contact. Ball goes to Fordham on the right wing. No good. Rebound knocked out of bounds, and they'll say it went off of Robert Ryan's hands last.
That was kind of helped by Luke Morrison, number 22, but it did go off Ryan's hands.
Bykirk will check back into the basketball game, and Walter will take a seat as both coaches now starting to, well, in fact, the Walter's not going to take a seat. Alex Bose is the young guy that they pulled off the floor. So with just under 13 to play and a 6-point lead, Britain's going to have to find a way to start cutting into that lead just a little bit. Show and go for Wilkes. Nice defense there by the Brits to slow that down. Bykirk thought about it, but didn't. Free throw line, spins, back outside. Jump shot with 5 to go. It's short, and the rebound comes off to the big fellow, Ryan Lowe.
Nice defensive stand right there by the Brits.
Ryan to Bennett. Bennett thought about taking that shot, didn't. Britons need to get some buckets right now. When they get the stops on the other end, Ebling now wishes that he'd known that the defender was going to fall the way that he did.
Didn't know until he heard the thud on the
floor. Luke Morrison hit the turf there at the Kresge.
By then, everybody else was aware of it too, and somebody came over for help defense. But
it's been a good one tonight for defense. The reaction time for both these sides, Jimmy, tonight has been excellent. Help defense has been something I think both coaches have been happy with. If they're not happy with anything else here this evening,
the hustle.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yep.
Ebling with a opportunity here, and he misses the first one. Armstrong coming back in along with Perry for the Britons. And they'll also bring James L. Davis in as well. And Calvin will sit Michael Wilkes down on their side. And they bring in Carlos Amoros Gutierrez. 59-53 as the second one is good for Ebling. And that lead now cut back to 5. Get a chance to talk to Coach after this one. And don't forget, we'll have the ladies game on Saturday here against St. Mary's, the final women's game on our schedule this year as well. Bykirk on the low block with Armstrong. Armstrong says, okay, come on, let's see who's got the best ups here. Bykirk put it up. Ball gets tipped around. Walters will come up with it. Fordham saw that one coming. End to end for the jam. That'll get this joint jumping. 59-56, and the home crowd now says, let's ratchet it up a notch. Fordham saw that one all the way, Jimmy. Then it was turn on the Jets for the easy lay-in. DeVrice kicks that one out. Boy, that's about the first thing he's done wrong all night long.
Yeah, and that's momentum.
Yeah.
Start to get a little bit of crowd noise. You see the steal right there. Going down, nice one-handed jam. That'll get the crowd fired up. Probably a good timeout right there. Try to take that little bit of momentum away.
Coach Vandestreek, you know, it's in his first time around the block.
No.
28 years in coaching, 22 of them here with these guys.
26 total as a head coach. Overall record during those 26 years, 504 and 260.
Isn't that something?
Yep.
Yeah, that's not a. I think that you don't have to go up to the office of the disbursement and say, hey, you know, I need my paycheck. I think they make sure that paycheck gets in the mail.
Yep.
He's earned it. There's no doubt about that one. 11.5 to play in the ball game. Brits trying to battle their way back. Been down by 9 here in this second half, and now cut it down to 3 with an opportunity now to either cut it to 1 or even tie it on this trip down the floor. James L. Davis will bring it up. Set at the top of the key. Fordham gets a step, and then a late whistle. And let's see who they're going to get that one on.
Get that one on DeVries.
Yep. Wow.
And Jason Walter, number 50, was looking at the official right after because he got a clean block. It was on the body going up. And he had that. What? Me?
Juwan Perry with the shot. The first one's good. Perry with the drive, not Fordham. My mistake. 22, not 20. Second shot on the front of the iron, then comes out. And it's Michael Wilkes that's there for the rebound.
On that rim, if it hits pretty much anywhere else, it usually will cradle down, but that one off front iron dropped out.
Bykirk has Armstrong in front of him again. Boy, that's a familiar sight. He's going to see Armstrong all night long. Wilkes missed the jumper, and Armstrong's there for another bound. This time it's Fordham, and this time Fordham won't be denied.
At that time, Jason Walter never stepped out on defense. He just drove it right at him.
Knotted back down at 59. And here comes Fordham again. Showtime. Got it. Wow. Off balance. Not looking at the rim. Cannoni cutting underneath. Fordham finds a way to bounce it off the glass. 61-59. DeVries down the lane. Reach-in foul, I think, will come against Jalen Fordham on the outside.
But you can see all of a sudden you get a couple of steals, and now everybody's starting to feed off that energy, and everybody's going for those tips and those steals and deflections. And you know, it's just like the three-pointers we talked about for Calvin are infectious. That tough defense, that's infectious. You know, that blue-collar work ethic. That's what the guys need.
Bennett will give Fordham a little breather here for a minute, too. 14 points on the night, 3 fouls now on Jalen. Boy, he's putting on an exhibition between he and Davis. And Bykirk gets the one after the bucket. I'll tell you what, it's getting really physical down there on that baseline, isn't it?
He earned those 2 points right there, Jim Funderburg. Boy, got that shot deflected. And sometimes when you get a shot rejected right back at you, you just kind of, you put your head down. But that young man stayed in a battle.
And the free throw's off, and Ebling's there to pull it back in.
That's what you need, though. You need them to really have to earn. You don't want the foul every time, of course, but you want them to feel like they really had to earn those 2 points.
Perry gives the basketball to Bennett. Swings it over to Davis. Down in the corner, try to get it to Armstrong, and he'll kick it out of bounds.
It's all right. Little miscommunication right there. You can see Armstrong telling himself and telling the team, it's all right.
Settle it down.
Yep.
A lot of time. Only halfway through this second half.
And this is going to be an emotional roller coaster. The second half of the second half, I guess you call it.
No doubt about that. Ball game tied at 61. DeVries has Bennett on him. Swings the ball over to Wilkes. Britt's playing some really good defense here again tonight. DeVries with a fall away. That one didn't touch anything, and Armstrong's down there to tight walk the end line.
I think it was too close. He needs to be about like 10 feet out. He's more comfortable shooting from distance.
No doubt about that. Jump shot's no good. Battle for the rebound underneath. It goes out of bounds. It'll stay with the home team.
Yep, good call right there. Off Calvin, and stay with the Brits.
James L. Davis is the young guy that took the initial shot. And then there were several different players trying to get that basketball, because I'm not sure anybody totally understood who that was off of early. 61 all, 9.5 to play. Ball comes into Perry. He'll get it to Armstrong. He'll give it right back. Perry gets it into the lane. Jump shots off the mark. And Bykirk's there to pull down the rebound. Wilkes with the basketball, pulls it up. Swings it to the top to Bose. Back to Wilkes, show and go. Jump shot, short, no good. And the Brits come up with the basketball. Davis again tries to get it to Armstrong, a little too far out of bounds. And the ball will turn back over to Calvin. I'll tell you what, Coach Mays trying to get things slowed down just a little bit. Don't go for the home run, guys. Let's set a few things up here.
Yep, trying to feed him. Good idea, but that was a tight window right there, and it would have had to be an unbelievably perfect pass.
Both teams having some troubles here as we've stalled out for 61 for a couple of minutes. Wilkes with a jumper, trying to slow that down, and Burks says, nope, I'll pull down the rebound.
Burks needs a basket on the other end, Jim.
He does. He's deserving of one. Been doing all the dirty work here tonight. Setting the picks.
Hit this three.
Here's the shot. Oh, a little too hard, but the rebound comes off to the Britons. Perry. Perry gets it inside to the big fella low. He feeds it back into the corner to Perry for three. Yes. Oh, baby. Javon Perry has 14 now tonight as well.
They battled on that possession, Jim. Got a board, kept it alive.
Alex Bose kicks it downside to Bykirk. Bykirk working along underneath that bucket. He's double teamed.
Nice move.
Oh, what a nice job to be able to find Michael Wilkes coming in after he got double teamed right underneath the bucket. And a good job by Wilkes to react to that one because he was wide open.
Yep. And it's just keeping your eyes open as you get under the basket. Keeping your head up and your eyes open, seeing that cutter. Tough angle, but they kept that play alive.
Bennett will lob it inside to low, and he got yanked on a little bit by Bykirk, who really didn't want to be part of the highlight reel here tonight.
No. Also, I don't think if you asked him to be truthful, didn't want to be part of tying him up right there. Did what he had to do to stop that one, but I think he wanted at that point let go and run away.
Fordham and Ryan will check in, and Perry will go to the sideline along with Davis there for the Britons.
Great game, 64-63, 7:41 to play in the game.
Ryan's got to get it inbounds, and he does to Burks. Britons head right side, then back to the top. Robert Ryan low down inside. Double team, and the ball goes back out to Ryan. Fordham for three. It spins in, spins out. No good. DeVries with the rebound.
That net's a little wonky
down there. Yeah.
It's distracting, I think, for a shooter.
Three-point jump shot's no good, and I'll tell you what, Jalen Fordham got that one on the way up, but couldn't control it. And Clay Burks settles down and allows DeVries to run right through him.
He was close to that circle underneath there, Jim.
Hey, I'll tell you what, DeVries had 20 1 at the half. He's got 23 now, and Quay Burks is up. It looks like he's shaken up just a little bit at the timeout called by Coach May.
Yeah, took that charge and probably landed, might have landed on his tailbone there. You know, usually when you hit the floor floor wins, right?
Yeah, always, man. Check a couple of stats and a couple numbers there, Jimmy, if you want to, right here.
Calvin, 63 points on 24 of 49 shooting. That's 49%. 8 of 16 from the three-point line and 7 of 12 from the charity stripe. The Brits was 64 points on 26 of 51 shooting for 51%. 6 of 21 from 3. So they're catching up in terms of total number of threes, and they've tried 5 more. 6 of 10 from the charity stripe, 60%. Both teams taking pretty good care of the ball. Calvin with 8 turnovers to 7 for Albion. Points off those turnovers. Calvin's been stuck on 7 points, Jim, since early in that first half.
Yeah.
They haven't scored a point off a turnover since then. The Brits now have a 12-7 advantage there, and they're also out rebounding Calvin, 31-24, including 21 on the defensive side. Bench points, 33-25. Edge to Albion. Second chance points, however, 15-5 for Calvin. So 23 points for Derek DeVries. Pretty spectacular game by that young man tonight.
He has had a pretty good ball game, and on the Briton side, a little more balanced scoring so far. Fordham with 14, Perry with 14, Armstrong with 12.
And 8 rebounds, so he's closing in a double-double.
I'll tell you what.
I suspect he'll get that.
Pretty good night of basketball.
On the bench right now, though. Can't get a rebound when you're not on the floor. So have to wait a little bit.
Davis.
There you go.
Gets it to Lowe, who finds a cutting Robert Ryan, and Ryan, the smallest guy on the floor.
Yeah, but Lowe with that double team was able to look over the defense and see the cutting Robert Ryan to the basket right there for an easy look.
66-63. Bykirk has Lowe on him right now. Lowe ain't going anywhere. 13 seconds to shoot. Now 11. Cannoni with Ryan on him. 8, 7. Jump shots no good, and DeVries with a good job of boxing out. And Fordham with the yank there on the jersey.
That's a good call. I saw that one the whole way. I believe he had his left wrist.
30 seconds now will be put back up on the shot clock, and Calvin will have the basketball underneath their hoop.
And that's 4 also on Jalen Fordham, Jim. I think you impede his progress with a hip check maybe. They might not call that, but then once it gets to a certain point, you just have to let go and let him chase that one down in the corner.
Cannoni will fire from 3, and he'll connect, and it's tied again at 66. Boy, this ball game's just gone back and forth and back and forth. What a fun night of basketball here from the Kresge. Brits trying to find a way to maybe pull one out here on senior night.
Ooh, bad shot there.
Davis really took a tough one, and Coach May not happy about the whole thing. Luke Morrison with the rebound.
He's knocked down a lot of shots tonight, though, at least 3 to my count, where he's been in some serious traffic.
Bykirk will feed the wing to Bose. Bose will dribble in, put up a shot.
That was all Ryan Lowe right there, Jim.
Lowe over to the shot. Burks came around and cleaned up the rebound.
All he had to do was put his hands up right there, and it forced him to go probably about 2 to 3 feet away from where he wanted to.
Perry lobs it to the big fella. Then he kicks it out to the corner. And Robert Ryan and Ryan Lowe hook up for a triple here at the Kresge, 69-66. Wow.
Beautiful sight to see.
5-18 and counting. Yeah, you wondered whether these two teams were going to come in and just lay an egg tonight or come play some basketball. I'd say we got the latter, didn't we?
Pride is a very powerful thing, like we said.
Ryan takes the ball away from Bykirk. He's running through the black jerseys all the way to the other corner. Now he's going into the big fella Lowe, who kicks back out front. And the Brits will now wait for the single team.
Here. Get it.
Ryan again from the same spot for 3.
Got to get back and play defense, though. His home bench is celebrating with him down there.
Ryan Lowe's wanting a little breather, too. But that's, 3 assists for Lowe on these last trips. So a nice job by Ryan Lowe, 72-66.
Don't step out on D. The big guy's not going to shoot from outside.
DeVries Straight on, no good. All of a sudden, as good as what he was in the first half, he's gotten that cold in the second half as he misses the putback.
Yeah, Lowe needs to Lowe needs to take a break. Yeah,
both of those were 3-footers, and Lowe grabbing at his jersey, going, "Coach, get me out of here, man. I've gone up and down this floor one too many times."
Giving it his all. Love it.
What a basketball game we've got going on here tonight. Hope you're enjoying it. If you're out watching the ball game tonight, let us know. Let's see.
Is. Webcast at albion.edu. I'm not going to ask this time Coach's mom, Kathy, to send us a picture. I'd probably just cry the whole way home.
Yeah.
And it's about an hour-and-a-half drive. Jim doesn't want to have to listen to me cry for an hour-and-a-half.
I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. There's no doubt about that.
No.
That wouldn't be good at all. Let's see if we can check in around the conference here while we got just a minute or two here. Let's see. Adrian's up right now 58-39 with 5.5 to play over Alma. Kazoo over Trine 45-34, about halfway through the second half there. Calvin and Albion, you already know where we're at with this one. And Olivet leads Hope 43-26 with about 14 to go in that ball game. So on this Valentine's Day, we've got some good contests all around the MIAA. Coming up Saturday, the last game of the season for everybody in the regular season. It'll be Alma and Trine hooking up at 3 o'clock. Olivet and Calvin hooking up at 3 o'clock. Adrian and Kalamazoo, and Albion and Hope. And basically the Britons will have to go and take on a very tough Hope team on their floor to end the season. And we got a chance to see the Brits beat Hope right here. So you got to believe that the Flying Dutch are going to be trying to fly a little higher that Saturday afternoon to end everything up here in the MIAA.
That'll be an interesting contest to end the season, but we still have just over 4 minutes to play on Valentine's Day. And one!
Look at that. Jawan Perry hangs in the air, finds the bucket, and he'll get a chance to get that three-point play.
I don't think it's a stat that they keep, but I'd be very interested to see the number of contested baskets, and by that I mean that a Briton player has taken on some sort of physical contact in the process of shooting. That net still isn't fixed, but it hasn't stopped them. So I guess now it's the new normal and we roll with it.
All of a sudden the Britons are up by 9 with just under 4 minutes to play in this basketball game. Alex Bose kicks it around. Armstrong saves it. Back up for anybody to grab, and DeVries is finally the guy that gets it. And a
shot clock.
Yeah, what are we going to call it here? We whistled everything.
Change of violation, I think.
Have 12 seconds on that shot clock right now, but if they change possessions, if they deem that Armstrong had possession of the ball, we may reset that clock. Yep,
yeah,
there you go.
Yep.
So Armstrong, when he saved that basketball in the far corner of the gym, was deemed to have possession, so the shot clock goes back to 29 seconds. Coach May down here just chatting with the official.
So I'll throw a football question at you.
Yeah.
Would that be considered a catch in the NFL? And if so, is it really a change of possession?
You Patriots fans, I'm telling you, you lose one Super Bowl game and then you get picky here, huh?
No, I just mean when even the commissioner says
no doubt
that the rules gotta go, then you know that there's a problem.
Wilkes now has 10 after that little runner here as we got 3:25 to play in the ball game.
This has been a great basketball game, Jim.
Perry dribbles right side, looking for that.
Yes!
Got it. And this is going to be the second time that young Mr. Perry is going to get a chance to knock down that third point. And what a shot that was. This young fella is acrobatic beyond belief, Jim. I'm telling you what, it's going to be fun to watch this guy play basketball for the next couple of years.
Both he and James L. Davis, who's checking out right now, number 14, both of them not afraid to take on the contact, to drive in the paint, and not afraid to put up those some kind of, sometimes impossible looking shots when they get that contact. They're always able to keep control.
Perry, only a freshman, as he converts on that third point and sends the Britons up 78-68 now by 10.
But like you've always said, at this point in the season, freshmen aren't really freshmen anymore.
No.
I mean, you're basically a sophomore at this point.
You bet.
Only a freshman in name.
Playing a lot more like a junior at this point in time, I'd say. Cannone Swings it right side to Luke Morris, who fires up three, no good, but Bykirk's there to muscle it back up for the bucket.
Good job not to commit a foul by Ebling right there.
Don't want to give him a three-point play.
And don't want to stop the clock.
Trade him 2 for 2 for the rest of the night if you want to go that way. Cannoni on the reach in. Robert Ryan had the ball on the floor, so that will be the 8th team foul, though, on the visitors, and will send the Britons to the free throw line. Britons with
Cannoni.
6 now.
Lowe gets his breather. Armstrong checks out. I like that sub pattern right there.
Yeah, well, you have to ask the coach about that one after the ball game today. Ryan now as the gym gets quiet for him. And he eyes it and knocks it down. He'll get another one. 79-70. Chance to stretch it to 10 with 2:54 to play here in this ball game. I think we're good luck for these guys, Jimmy. We need to do more ball games. Wait till we talk to Matt here after the ball game tonight, I think, huh? You want to have a winning season? Just bring us back a little more often. How's that, huh?
There's a promise I'm not comfortable making. Because the moment we come here and they lose, then all of a sudden they...
Oh, then our trouble. Oh, Cannoni with a nice fake on Robert Ryan.
Beautiful move.
And an easy lay-in, and that'll bring a timeout for the visitors here, as the Calvin Knights will call that timeout as they're down 7 points now. They want to chat things over with 2:44 to play.
And that's a case of Cannoni for the most part, Jim, like we've talked about. He was looking to be more of a floor general than a shooter, and he was reading the eyes of the defense right there. Everybody was starting to look away to see where he was going to pass the ball, and all of a sudden, you know, he sees that there's a wide open game. Hey, I want to say hi to a few folks. Bill Denny watching from Bluffton, Indiana. Father of Cam Denny played for Calvin in 15, 16, and 17. Also played D2 at Nova Southeastern in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So thank you so much for watching from
about that. And don't forget, we're more than happy to come out and see you in Hawaii if you get lonely at all out there and need some visitors.
Send us another one lone coconut on the beach.
Oh my goodness. And here we have
they say that about me when I'm on the
yeah, there's that one lone
coconut on the beach.
Yeah, there he goes. Britons have the basketball with 2:44 to play in this contest.
Hey, it beats a volleyball, right?
Yeah,
They'd call it Wilson.
Up by 7. Big possession right now. You got to feel like if they get a bucket here, this could really turn things early.
They're going to get a foul on Bykirk, yep.
Trying to guard and shield Ryan Lowe away from the basketball. Instead, he gets called for the hook.
And I think that was right. Wasn't so much a foul thinking that Lowe was going to cut towards the basket. It was just stopping the clock and trying not to get an intentional.
Lowe hits it 6 out of 10. That's number 9, so this is still a 1 in bonus. And he gets the first one.
That's the chance you take on that foul right there. As now the couple of the Knights are talking about Brits jumping in the lane early. So the official will have a talk with everybody to remind them of the rules. But, you know, you'll see if there's any carryover effect to the lobbying. And nobody anywhere near violating the lane on that free throw, so much ado about nothing.
Ryan Lowe has 5 points tonight, Jimmy. He's got 6 assists. You think he'd be a 5'10" guard maybe, huh? Point guard.
Well, everybody figured out for Calvin that when you go into him, got a double team because his path is usually pretty easy to the basket, and he knows that, so he's looking to kick it right back out.
Luke Morris with a clutch bucket there at the 2:15 mark, and it's 80-74. Brits by 6.
Brits still need a couple of baskets here. Can't just throw it on autopilot.
Lowe with the double team, didn't really know exactly what he was going to do with it. And then Bykirk kind of bailed him out. So Lowe goes back to the free throw line. This time he'll shoot 2.
And Lowe's game is a little closer to the basket right there, Jim. So I think you're right on the money when you say that Bykirk kind of bailed him out. He's not going to really be that guy that puts it on the floor for a couple dribbles and does you a spin move. He's going to be a one drop and then spinning right off the glass.
And you know, the problem though with that is he's just so darn big, and everybody in this conference has given up about 40 pounds and maybe 2-3 inches at least to him. You really have a difficult job to try to guard him on a Wednesday night.
This substitution right here, Armstrong for Ebling. First time that we've seen Lowe and Armstrong on the floor at the same time.
And both of them go down this time. Also, Jalen Fordham checks back in with his 3 personal fouls. So Armstrong, Ryan, Fordham, Lowe, and Bennett on the floor right now for your Britons. Nice
kick.
Dish to Bykirk. And I'll tell you what, these Calvin Knights aren't going to go away.
No.
Luke Morrison drove the lane, found his guys standing on the block. The easy dunk brings it back down to 6 with 1.5 minutes to play.
Pick your poison in the middle, though, for the Brits.
Ryan now with the basketball.
Bad pass.
He threw that one away. Luke Morrison gets his pocket pick from Dylan Bennett, who came out of nowhere. And Robert Ryan will slow it down, bring it to the front court against Canoni. $1:18 to play. Brits with 21 to shoot.
That was a massive emotional change right there, Jim.
Morrison, if he didn't get slowed down, had an easy run out.
Yes.
And the reach-in foul now will go against Alec Bose.
Now it's 2 shots the rest of the game. Makes you breathe just a little bit easier on those free throws.
Armstrong will go to the line to shoot them here now. And Armstrong hits only 52%. It's a 6-point ball game, so one of these makes it a 3-possession game. Yes. And this one stays home.
I'm telling you, that right rim, Jim, is just
I think it's a little bit bigger than the other ones or something. I don't know.
As welcoming as I've ever seen a rim, and I love it.
And the second one also is good for Armstrong. And Quay Burks now will check in, and Ryan Lowe will sit down.
Wasn't a big fan in the first half.
Yeah.
But I'm a much bigger fan in the second half.
It's amazing how that will change.
I love that rim now.
Canoni brings it to the front court with just 1 minute to play. His team's down 8. They've got to make something happen in a hurry.
Bad
Ball
pass right there.
Tipped away by Bennett. Somebody's got to decide to take a shot.
That's just it, is now they're looking for the other person to shoot.
Yep.
And the normally quickly decisive Calvin Knights are starting to kind of become a little bit more indecisive, and I don't think that'll continue.
Morrison has trouble out there with Fordham on him. Bykirk spins into the lane, and Lowe will get called for the foul.
Don't argue that one.
He says I went straight up, but I think they kind of belly bucked right about the middle way up of that on that shot.
And DeVries said something to him right afterwards too. They exchanged a quick word, and that was the end of that.
So Bykirk will get a chance to shoot a couple, and the first one goes home. Bykirk hits 62% on the year. Brits on top by 7 with 49 seconds left to go in this one, and Coach Jody May working all of the buttons on the sideline right now. Second one is missed. Rebound picked up by the Brits.
Time out, call time.
Robert Ryan got it. To Fordham, to Burks, back to Ryan.
Run some time.
Bennett's
Beautiful.
going to bring it back out front.
Yep.
And they're going to have to foul now, and they do. Alex Bose reaches in, touches Quay Burks, and the Brits have this one in the bag, it looks like. 84-77.
3
a couple of
possession
free
game.
throws coming.
Yep. 3 possession game. Even if they make them both, still only 3 possessions, but you can't have enough points right now, Jim.
Burks hits 7 out of 10, and there's the first one.
This has been a total team effort by the Brits tonight.
It has been. You really got to be.
4 guys in double digits now?
Yeah, we're going to have to take a look at that, but you're right. There's, there's 3 right now that I'm seeing. There's the miss. Yep, just 3 at this. Well, no, 4.
Yep,
Perry, Ryan, Fordham, and Armstrong. Yep. Jump shot with 36 ticks left to go. Rebound to Canoni. Down to Bykirk. Back out front. They're looking for 3. That one spins out. Rebound comes off to Armstrong, and this ball game's in the books.
Yep, now the token foul to stop the clock, but I think that'll be about the last time that you see the Calvin Knights stop the clock, because this one's over.
Canoni reaches out, grabs Fordham. Fordham will come down to the other end. He's been playing with 4 fouls here, but what a ball game tonight for Jawan Perry and Jalen Fordham. Oh, my goodness.
I think the intensity will start to subside a little bit. Hard-fought game. But now, I don't anticipate any more fouls, any more stoppages.
21 seconds left to go in this basketball game. You'd have to think things were over.
Bring the senior in one more time.
Yep.
Excellent.
Adam Davis checks in again. Dylan Bennett will sit down.
That's just too bad Corey Wheeler was injured, Jim.
Yeah, it really
was. Love to see him just out for the last 20 seconds. Get that curtain call with the crowd.
Well, we'll get him a little attention when the coach comes up here and chat with him a little bit in the postgame show tonight. Fordham hits them both, and the Brits now up by 10.
No fouls.
Canoni kicks it to the corner, and then Armstrong does exactly what you don't want him to do. As he fouls with 14.8.
Oh, Jim, look right below you.
Look at this.
I love it. Got to do it. Even if he's not 100%.
$15 seconds to go. Corey Wheeler going to check into the basketball game here for the Britons, and Quay Burks will sit down. And Wheeler, who's been working on a bad wheel for quite a while.
Maybe they'll miss and they'll forget he's down there and they'll get an easy lay.
It's a nice round of applause here from the Kresge Gymnasium crowd tonight.
Knocks down the first. 87-78 with just under 15 seconds to play in the game. The Britons will improve to 6-7 in the conference. Calvin will fall to 5-8.
And both of them go in. 9-15 on the year now for Calvin. And 9-15 as well for the Britons. So
Wheeler's even running down. Give me the ball. There you go. He got a touch. He's going to make it through these last 13 seconds. Take a shot. Nah.
He decided not to. They'll dribble it out.
Yeah. Let him be the last one to hold the ball. There you go.
So Wheeler will hang on to the basketball. The zeros will come up on the scoreboard.
Couldn't have drawn it up any better.
87-79 tonight. What a ball game.
Great way to finish that game.
Yeah, that was a great way to finish that game. And I'll
Give
tell
him
you
his
what,
mom and out there. Corey Wheeler deserves that.
There's no doubt about that. What a fine young fella, and we'll miss him next year. In fact, three seniors that we lose off this basketball team: Robert Ryan, Corey Wheeler, and Ryan Lowe. Or Adam Davis, I'm sorry. Adam Davis.
All three seniors were out there at the end.
They were. And what a big win tonight for the Britons. Man, I'll tell you what, good basketball game here tonight. Which one you looking at there, lady? All of them.
Good answer.
Very good answer. Well, I'll tell you what, why don't we take a look and see if we can find out what's going on over at the MIAA here tonight.
While you're looking up scores, I want to read an email from Bill Denny. Said he did the play-by-play many years for Lebanon High School in Lebanon, Indiana. Said you guys did a nice job on the broadcast. Bill, thank you so much for the compliment. We appreciate you watching tonight's broadcast, and thank you so much for the message too. Always appreciate hearing from our viewers.
Now, Jimmy, Adrian beats Alma tonight 62-57. That was now in the books. Let's see, Kalamazoo and Trine. Let's see if that one's over. 3:45 left to go in that ball game. It's a tight one now. Kalamazoo up 56-51 over Trine with just under 4 to play in that basketball game. Obviously, the Brits win here this evening, 87-79. In that Hope Olivet game, Jim, as we check in on that one, Olivet now up by 14 over Hope, 55-41 with 6 minutes left to go in that ball game. And let's see, that's the end of them here tonight. We'll swing it on over real quickly into the ladies' side of the conference here and see how the women did tonight. And then we'll go back and take a look at all the sports that are worth talking about and all the scoring that's worth talking about here tonight at this ball game. We'll let Jimmy wrap that all up for you. And we're expecting to get the coach up here at some point in time. Let's see.
Tell you what, Jim, while you're looking up scores, I want to also encourage folks to go to GoBrits.com. There's a lot of great winter sports going on, not only in the MIAA, but some of these Briton athletes getting national attention. I've seen a lot of great highlights and updates lately and you know, a lot of winter athletes doing some tremendous things, not only in the pool, on the field, on the court, etc., but also doing some great things in the community.
No doubt about that. All right, we've got finals all around the ladies' side of the ledger here tonight. Hope runs away from Adrian tonight, 86-33, Jim. I don't think we wanted to do that one tonight. It was Alma over St. Mary's, 58-51. Albion leading with 1:07 left to go, 56-48 over Kalamazoo.
There you go.
And we'll check in with that here real quick to see if that one is finished now. With 35 seconds, Brits up on top of KZoo by 10 now, 58-48. So it looks like Coach Carden has that one in the books here this evening. And then the final score we're looking at here this evening, another one of those runaways, is Calvin is rolling Olivet 82-43 with 49 seconds left to go in that ball game. So a couple of runaways and a couple of pretty good ball games around the MIAA on the women's side here tonight. And looks like the Brits are going to be successful on both sides this evening. And that's wonderful to see here as the Britain's men's team tonight, as you see on your scoreboard, win tonight 87-79.
Excellent team win. I mean, just can't say enough about the balance that they had. 4 players in double figures and 2 other players, Davis and Lowe, right behind.
Yep.
If you want to look at individual scoring, we can go through that real quick. Juwan Perry leads the team, 20 points on 7 of 10 from the free throw line, 6 of 9 from the floor. Jalen Fordham had 16 points, 14 points apiece for Robert Ryan, and Quentin Armstrong just barely missed a double-double, 14 points and 9 boards. 7 points for James L. Davis as well as Ryan Lowe. 6 rebounds to go along, actually 6 assists and 3 boards for Ryan Lowe. So he's working on a near double-double there as well. 3 points apiece for Dylan Bennett, Quay Burks, and Caden Ebeling, and I believe that takes care of all the scoring for the Brits. I'll scroll down real quick to make sure. Yep, Corey Wheeler did get in at the end of the game. I was really happy to see that.
Yeah, I was too.
That was excellent.
Nice move by Coach and the guys to get him in and let him at least have a round of applause from a very happy crowd here tonight.
Yep. And
a very, you know, he really has been a great player on this team. The couple of years we've been doing these ball games now, it's really been a whole lot of fun to watch him do that. And
refresh real quick. See if we can get the other side of the ledger for the Calvin Knights. But you love being at the mercy of technology sometimes.
Technology at times will drive you crazy. There's no doubt about that.
Derek DeVries, 23 points on 8 of 14 shooting, including 4 3-pointers. 10 points apiece for Tony Canoni, Austin Bykirk, and Michael Wilkes. 9 apiece for Luke Morrison and Alex Boss. 4 points and 7 rebounds for Jason Walter. 3 points for Carlos Amores Gutierrez. And we'll scroll down and see if we have anybody else. 1 point for Tom Morrison on the free throw there. So good balance for the Calvin Knights as well. But really good second half by the Brits. As one of the things that, like we said in the pregame, has plagued them throughout the season, just not closing. And tonight, Coach May really did some excellent things down the stretch with some different substitutions.
Yeah.
And there was a critical juncture in there, the first time where we saw Anderson in there with Lowe. And from that point forward, the last 2 minutes of that game, they really shut him down.
Yeah, really did.
The team really just pulled away, and they muscled a victory. It was a great team win.
It really was a great team win tonight. The Britons shooting 53.4% tonight, Jimmy, as a team, 31 of 58 tonight. Calvin, 30 of 63, 47% this evening. From behind the arc tonight, both teams doing a pretty good job as we get the coach up here and get him all mic'd up. A happy fellow here tonight. 3 points shots tonight. Calvin just under 41%, 9 of 22. The Brits at 33%, 8 for 24. And then from the free throw line tonight, the Brits 17 of 24 compared to 10 of 16 for Calvin tonight. Turnovers, I'll tell you what, and Coach, why don't we just start with that one here as we get to that point, because I think your team hustled really well. You started out early with a bunch of turnovers quickly in this ball game, and then somehow they just went away for your guys. What happened with that turnover situation tonight? You really took care of the ball for about 2/3 of this basketball game tonight.
In their turnovers at the beginning led to baskets.
They did.
And that was there's different types of turnovers. There's turnovers that you throw out of bounds, and there's turnovers that you give to them to lead to baskets. And a couple of those the first half were big baskets. And I didn't think we had a great focus to start the game. You saw it defensively, that we weren't moving and playing with the intensity that we need to play with. And it led to some easy shots. And I also think the focus offensively wasn't there, which led to those turnovers. And then I think once they kind of got in the flow of the game, then they realized that, hey, we got to better start picking it up and get really focused, or we're going to get beat tonight.
Run right out of this gym, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're down by 10.
Yeah,
there
absolutely.
At that point in time.
Yeah. And the credit to them, they picked it up. And I thought that that sometimes you just wave your magic wand and say, hey, don't turn the ball over anymore, and they didn't tonight, so thank goodness.
Well, and the other thing about that, Coach, is we're looking at points off turnovers. Those turnovers that the Brits had early in that first half, they got those 7 points off those 5 turnovers. Mm-hmm. They didn't score another point off a turnover in the game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're talking about not only doing a better job of taking care of the ball, but then they can't capitalize when you're taking better care. And that was a huge difference tonight.
And the turnovers we did have later on, then, they didn't lead to baskets, and that's, that they might have been from, throwing the ball out of bounds, or, ball get tipped around and it lands in the corner and they're not able to take it for baskets. So that was big.
Yep.
Coach, this was senior night basically for you, and you had 3 really nice guys tonight, wonderful players. It was fun to watch you down after the ball game, getting pictures taken, hugs, and all that kind of stuff. Got to be tough to say goodbye to those 3 guys, and they I'm sure have meant a lot to you over the years.
It means a ton, and those guys, all 3 of them are just great kids, and they're great. They're good students, and they do things the right way. I've never had a problem with any of them over the course of 4 years, and they were good players that played in a lot of games.
Yeah.
And and I'm sure that they would have liked to win more games throughout their course of their career, but I think they've gained valuable lessons throughout the course of their 4 years, and I've watched them grow and mature and become men, and I'm really, really proud of them for everything they've given to this program. They mean a lot to us, and this is a senior-driven program.
Yes.
And each year we really rely on the seniors to do a lot, not just produce on the court, but to lead our team off the court and to do a lot of things. And these guys were great with those things, and so it was a lot of fun just to sit back and watch them over the course of 4 years and realize that these guys are good kids and they're going to be very successful when they're done here.
Got Corey Wheeler in the ball game at the very end. I mean, I know it had to be difficult the last few games to have him injured the way that he was, and trying to fight your way back into the tail end of the season. But it was great to see Corey to get out at least for that last 10 seconds or so in that ball game.
Yep. I was real scared. I was like, it's only 10 points, and but I think it was really neat to get him in there that game. This is his night, and he means a lot to us, and so I wanted to try to sneak him in there.
Let's go back to some of the guys that are going to be back here probably next year with you, okay? Because in Mr. Fordham and Mr. Perry tonight, we saw some high aerial acts going on tonight. Man, I'll tell you what, those guys can get up in the air and finish at the rim, can't they?
Yeah, and I give Jalen a lot of credit, because there was a good part of the year that he didn't play very well, and I think he knew it. And but if you look at the stats now that we've been in league play, he's been our most consistent wing player throughout the course of this league season. And for a guy that had so many ups and downs early, he's really come on. And he doesn't score a ton of points every night, but every night he's 2 of 4 or 2 of 3 from 3, and he just produces in his own way. And it's really, really good to see him producing like that, because he had a good freshman year. He really struggled as a sophomore last year, and then started the year off struggling. So I'm really proud of him, how he's responded. And then Juwan, he's really talented, man.
Oh,
and
man.
He's got a lot of things to his game, and we brought him along really slow this year and played some JV games, and was really, really scoring the basketball in JV games, and that was what we needed. We needed a spark plug that can come in and give us some points quickly, and he certainly can do that in a hurry. And you know, when Corey went down, I thought it was important that, hey, we got to put him out there and gain some experience and see what happens. And he was great tonight, and you know, shows he's explosive, he's long, and we need to get him better defensively right now, but that's a freshman for you. And,
sure.
But I have some high expectations for him.
And that's the outside part of the game. The inside part of the game, we're talking about Quentin Anderson and Ryan Lowe.
Mm-hmm.
And you were kind of substituting those two players and giving the defense a lot of trouble, having to expend energy for two very different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And we were marveling at that substitution pattern because it was forcing them, with Lowe's strength down low, is forcing them to use that part and tire them out. And then when Anderson comes in, the speed, and you still have to respect the size. So, you know, when those two finally hit the floor together in the last 2 minutes and really kind of sealed the deal, it looked like it had really worn Calvin down. So that was just, it was a beautiful call tonight on that.
Well, thank you. And it was by design. And I think Austin Bykirk is a very good player. He's one of the best post players in the league. But when you have to go against Ryan Lowe and it's Quentin Armstrong.
Yeah.
But when you have to go against those two,
Anderson, I said, sorry about that.
It wears on you and wears on you and wears on you, and you know that was because I think he's really good. And now I think, you know, we're a team, as everybody knows, is we like to throw that ball inside, and when you have to guard, like you got guys pushing and shoving you on the, you know, when you're on offense, and now you have to go and actually guard them when you're on defense. And he's a good player, and he didn't have a great game today. You know, we've seen him be very, very good in this league, and I think that's part of it, is having to go against those guys and just play, you know, 3 or 4 minutes. There's one guy, and here comes the next guy, and then here comes the next guy. You know, so it is by design to do that, to wear those guys out.
Fantastic call.
Coach, you had some company with you tonight, too. It looked like there were some celebrities sitting out in the on the one end here tonight. Who all was on hand tonight?
We probably had 6 to 10 older alumni that actually came to school and played basketball with Coach Turner when Coach Turner played here.
Okay.
Coach Turner is a retired head men's basketball coach at Albion. He was head coach for 34 years, and so he played back in the late 60s and had a bunch of great friends with him and teammates, and they were at Charlie's downtown before the game, and so it was great to see them. That we get together with the golf outing every summer, the alumni golf outing, and see those guys. So it was great to see them in the stands.
Yeah, boy, I'll tell you what, that's fun. We had one heckler tonight from Hawaii, Coach, that kept stepping on us all the time, and you know, the showing pictures of the beach, and you know, you guys ought to be here. And we said, you know, how do we do the ball game from Hawaii? Is what we wanted to know. After that one.
Yeah, obviously my mother's in Hawaii, and having a great time, and we're stuck with 3 feet of snow, and it's really cold. It's supposed to be a little warmer for Albion tomorrow, but I hope she's having a great time, and maybe someday my wife and I will get to Hawaii and once in a lifetime trip. But I'm really glad she's having a great time there, and she deserves it.
It was fun going back and forth with her tonight. All right, now here you are, last game. You're going to go to Hope. It's not going to be an easy ball game. Obviously, you beat them here, so you're going to go play them there. I think we can pretty much throw out the window, are we going to play hard in the last game of the year? Because when you have 2 5-7 teams hooking up on a Wednesday night and get the game that we got tonight, both teams were out there scrapping, and I'm sure Saturday's going to be the same way.
Yep. And, you know, I don't know the results of, you know, tonight's game and what they did. I know they were playing for the league championship, and you know, I think that I know they're going to be ready to play us. And we played really well, one of our best games all year, and last time we played them, and I thought we played very well defensively, and then we made a lot of shots, and we were rolling, and you know, I think that we're going to need that same type of defensive effort on Saturday, and I think, you know, Hope has been playing well lately and has really come on since our last game, and you know, so.
Here you go. Here's, I think, the final scores. Bobby, I was going for that myself, and here, if you go down,
64-45.
64-45.
Olivet beat Hope.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
and so all of it, I know, has at least a share of the league championship, and if they happen to lose on Saturday and Hope wins, and you know, so they're playing for something.
Yeah, they really are.
You know, so, but I know they're going to bring it, and it'll be a fun place to play. It's a tough place to play, but it's a fun place to play, and you know, we got to go over there and play hard. And you know, my 3 things that I've been telling them all year is, you know, we have to be tougher, and we have to be smarter, and we have to play harder than our opponent. And when we do that for a lot of the games, we have a great chance to win.
Yep.
And I'll say the same thing about when we go and play at Hope. If we're like that, we got a chance to win.
Yeah.
And you know, so the consistency with this team, when they do those things, we're very good. When they don't do them, we're not very good. And so it's a matter of, okay, we're going to make a decision to do it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, we'll let you loose. Thank you for all your time this year. It was fun watching. And we were going to put a bug in Matt's ear, man. Every time we seem to show up, you win.
I know. I've noticed. I know that. And we really appreciate you guys and being here. It's a great representation of Albion, and come back more often.
We'll do that, man.
All right.
Thanks.
You.
Thanks,
Coach Jody May with us, and his ball team tonight wins 87-79 over Calvin. What a great ball game it was. It was a whole lot of fun to do. That'll be the final men's game that we'll get a chance to do this year. We do have the ladies' game coming up on Saturday, and we will be here at St. Mary's and Albion here on the Briton Sports Network. With that, Jimmy, why don't we wrap it up and head back towards the Buckeye State tonight?
One more time, my sincere apologies to Quentin Armstrong.
Ah, there you go. Stretch Armstrong.
Remember Anderson on the brain tonight. My apologies. Tremendous player. End of game. I just want to thank Coach May for his time. I want to thank you, of course, for watching. For complete details on this evening's game, as well as all other news and notes on Britain's winter sports, visit GoBrits.com. Our thanks to Drea Hill for running the camera, Ken Reeker running the production. This game was a production of Richer Productions and FJ Productions. I want to thank Matt Arend, the Director of Athletics, and Bobby Lee, the Sports Information Director at Albion College. And also want to thank you very much for watching. Happy Valentine's Day, and have a great evening, everybody.